Welcome to another episode of Love Notes.
All nurses to the nurses station.
This is Taquita Love, a nurse and a comedian.
You think you could bring your brother the clear machine home? You know, the reviver.
And I'm talking to my funny friends about medical mishaps.
Clear!
You are listening to Love Notes.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Taquita Love, and I am here with the comedian, writer, dancer, philanthropist, super dope chick. If you don't know her, you will, and you need to. Y'all welcome Maud Arnold to the show.
Thank you so much. I love this. Well, I love love. I love medical. You know, if I weren't doing all the things I'm doing now, I think I would be in the medical field somehow. And I'm like the friends go to when they're sick. So I'm like the hood nurse for my friends.
That's dope because let me tell you, we did a show recently for it was the tourist birthday show with Donald George. And, you know, I did not know that you were funny. And when I tell you, girl, you did a set and I was like, where has this girl been? How come you not ripping the stages? Well, how come? Where you been? And then I found out all these other secret, hidden, like very dope talents that you have. So if you don't mind, can you give us a rundown of I know comedy is one of your talents, how you became a comedian or what your path was to comedy, and then let us know all these other amazing things that you do.
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm blushing. That means a lot to me because you are hilarious. It's funny because I wouldn't even I feel like I would be remiss to like call myself a comedian. I'd say I'm a comedian in training, aspiring, because and it's funny because I'm a professional tap dancer and choreographer, and that
Okay.
is where, you know, I do most and all of my work, and I've always loved comedy. I've always wanted to do it. One of my closest friends, who's like a big brother to me, is Afion Crockett. And of course, he is amazing and a vet in the game. And so
Yes.
he's mentoring me and helping me when I said, I want to do this. But it was really thanks to Donald George that I ended up getting on stage for the first time like 4 years ago. I told him at his birthday party, I was like, I want to try stand up. And he was, you know, a little inebriated. So I didn't think he would remember. And then the next day he was like, are you in town Tuesday? And I was like, yeah, because you know, pre-COVID, I travel like 100,000 miles a year for work. And I was like, yeah. And then like 3 hours later, I got a flyer with my photo on it with my name, and it said Tuesday night comedy. And I was like, what the hell? And it was like a Saturday, and I started feeling nervous for Tuesday. And I'm just so thankful that he just like put the fire under my booty and said, you got to go. And I think that comedy is the hardest form of performing art, because it is truly about what does the audience think and feel. Like when I perform dance, you know, if nobody likes the performance, I can be like, I felt good about it. I expressed my artistic creativity. I loved it. It doesn't matter if they didn't like it. In comedy, if your audience doesn't like it, you sucked. So it's a whole different approach. And for the record, people like when I dance, but you know, it's just a different approach. So I just have so much respect, and I'm so thankful to be here in this space and in this room. And you know, I'm a tourist too, so that was so much fun.
Well, thank you so much. For first things first, Donald George is an amazing human being. He's a really good friend of mine, and I think you know, there's a thing with friendships where you pass the torch, and people that you have in your circle should make you better, and they should challenge you. And so, you know, me and Donald George, we have a story where he said he wanted to do stand up. I took him to some of the open mics that I went to, and the same, like, and it could be a tourist thing too, but the same level, like, come on, you could do it. You said you wanted to do it. Bam, here we go. Like, just do it. And that's dope that love and, you know, that friendship that makes you better that it was expressed to you and that you took the challenge. Like you was like, okay, like some people bag out, some people, don't feel like they don't want to make a fool of themselves or whatever the case may be, but you took the challenge. You was like, yo, I'm a tourist. I could do this. Um I know that because that's how I feel all the time. Um
It is amazing. I think it's like the loyalty of Tauruses, and
mhm.
like we're really ride or die for our friends. And Donald has that saying, "Friends don't let friends dream alone." And I feel like he truly embodies that in himself and with the people he surrounds himself by, which
Yeah.
makes sense that you were like, "All right, Donald, let's do it." And he's so funny and so talented. So I love that.
Yeah, and the business, oh yeah, I gotta get him on the show. Sooner than late than later. But it's so dope. So stand-up comedy you tried 4 years ago,
Uh huh.
and then we did a show together, that was the tourist show. I thought you killed it.
Oh,
You're very funny, your energy's on point, and you just are, like, to me, like a natural born, and I don't wanna say entertainer. I feel like there's something, like, magnetic about your presence, even in a Zoom, and that's why I invited you to do the show. I was like, "This girl is dope."
that
And
means
so
so much. Thank you.
no, sometimes you don't realize that, that you are, dope. And I know some things that you do for a long time, you just like it like the back of your hand. Like me as a nurse, it's kind of like I've been a nurse for over 15 years.
Wow.
And you put me in a situation, I think that I'm gonna feel pretty confident that, I'm gonna be able to heal or save or assist and take care of somebody. That's just because I've done it so long. But then there are other talents that you don't know you have until you have to release them. And so
It's
I
so
always be
true.
like, girl, when you get that 5 minute set together so you could go ahead and throw it on the late night show and just pop off. Um,
That's so kind. It's definitely a dream. It's on my vision board. It's on my vision board.
so give us a little bit of a rundown, like where you from, what made you, I know you say that you're a tap dancer,
Mhm.
a little bit of that world on like how you started. We're here in LA, but how'd you get to this point?
Yeah, so I'm from Washington, D.C. And I love being from D.C. It's Chocolate City. I grew up,
Yeah.
being surrounded by Black excellence, definitely surrounded by the hood as well. But I think DC is unique, very much like Chicago, where you do have like upwardly mobile Black people, where you can see kind of the gamut of, who we are as people. So my mom put us in dance. I have a big sister, and we both went to dance, and we really fell in love with it, and we really excelled, and it was something that we decided we wanted to do. And so I went to college in New York. I went to Columbia University, and I studied film there, but I wanted to go there because I wanted to be in New York so I could tap. And my sister Chloe went to Columbia too. She's 6 years older though. And I've been very blessed with the best mentor in the whole world, and that is Debbie Allen. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it's amazing. Like sometimes when I think about it, it's when I take myself out of being myself and I'm like, what in the world? Like it's Debbie Allen. Like she is truly the Renaissance woman, the pioneer. And she taught us like do it all, do it well, work hard, and don't be afraid. Be fearless in the pursuit of your dreams and know that you can be in charge. So when I graduated from college, I stayed in New York for like 4 years, and then my sister was out here in LA, and I was like, I want to be a television writer. I want to move to LA, and I saved my money and I moved to LA. And first, I was a personal assistant for a TV writer and creator, comedian, and that was great, and I learned a ton of stuff. But then our tap dancing really, really took off because we have a group called the Syncopated Ladies, and we put tap dance to contemporary music.
Yes.
And we're most known for doing our stuff to Beyonce. And Beyonce like shared our videos a bunch and put us on the front of her website, hired us to perform to open Ivy Park in London at Top Shop. And so like dance really fully took over. I've been to over 15 countries teaching and performing. And I produce the largest tap dance festival in the world in DC annually.
Oh
And
my God.
I run a nonprofit. I have after school programs here in LA and in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I go to Brazil 2 times a year to teach and work with kids. So it's like a whole gamut of work that all came from dance, but it's still like working on television, doing TV shows, choreographing. Like I also choreograph for Good Morning America. So it's a million jobs, but we learned from Debbie Allen. It's like you can do it all. And I was like, I always wanted to try stand up. And I heard her little voice in me like, then do it. Why aren't you doing it? And that's how I got into it. But I grew up watching like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, and loving them and being like, I want to make people happy. I want to do that. That feels good to me.
Dope. Oh my God. So I knew that you did a lot. Um, and it's definitely dope to have mentors that pour into you and then actually lead by example for being like the be all know all when it comes to dance. And just I think whatever you want to do in life, I think it starts mentally. And if you know you can do it and you believe you can do it, it's like putting one foot in front of the other, and then out of nowhere you're doing it, and then you're doing it better, and then you're like a pro at it. But I wanted to just, pinpoint when you said that you guys danced. What did you go to? I know you studied with Debbie Allen, but how did you start dancing? Was it?
Oh, it was at a studio, a one-room studio owned by a woman named Toni Lambre, rest in peace. It was a teeny, like literally the size of your living room. But
Mhm.
the magic that was made in that studio, and we were on scholarship because we were poor, we couldn't afford it. And she
Mhm.
gave us scholarships, and the magic that was made in that room, like the other women who we're still friends with now, 30 years later, are top pediatricians, top engineers, top consultants. My sister's Emmy nominated choreographer from this small room run by Black women. And it nurtured us on and off the dance floor. And that's where we started.
Oh, it was that in DC?
Yep. It was in DC.
Okay, that is dope. I think sometimes people underestimate, how powerful just, actual beings could be, and not necessarily the space, but, who the person is. Um, how was it when you realized that Beyonce was co-signing low key your talents and showcasing it and like welcoming you um into that world of performing?
Well, okay, so to give you context too, I had worked with Beyonce before on several commercials and music videos in production because at Columbia, I was a film major and I wanted to be a music video director. So that was like I want to be a music video director. I'm going to work for every music video director. I'm going to intern. I'll pick up the trash, whatever. So I got to work with Beyonce a lot behind the scenes. So I'd already respected her and revered her in that way because I'd seen her work. She's so kind. Like she is who you want her to be. Like she doesn't act like a diva, act like anytime anybody says anything bad about Beyonce, the first thing I say is, have you ever met her? Have you ever worked with her? And they say, no. I'm like, exactly. You just
Mhm.
won't even know. So the first time she shared our video on Facebook, this was 2014. I remember I was in Miami mentoring some kids for this program. And I walk in the lobby of the Marriott I was staying at, and I'm looking at my phone, and it's like a BlackBerry, LOL. And I was confused because it said they killed it. And it was on Beyonce's Facebook page. And I was like, I don't understand this, and it had like 1 million views. And I was like, I don't get this. I was like, what's happening? And then I was like, oh my God, Beyonce shared I started yelling, oh my God, Beyonce shared our video, and screamed and threw my phone up, and it fell on the marble floor at the Marriott. And I was like, and people were like, what's going on? I was like, and then I picked it up and I was pointing and yelling at the screen, Beyonce shared our video, Beyonce shared our video. And so, it was like a total geek out. There was no cool moments, let me tell you. And like, I have no problem. Like when I saw her again post that, I was like, thank you so much. Because in 2016, so 2 years after that, actually that was 2013. So 3 years after that, we did like a Formation tribute because we were so moved by what she had done at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And she shared it, and then she also put it as the homepage of her website. So when you went to Beyonce.com, it said syncopated ladies, click this, and it was a photo of us. And that literally was her website for like 3 weeks. You go and Beyonce.com
Girl.
was us. Oh girl, we got all the screenshots. And that video got like, we now have over 70 million views of our videos like online and from doing television shows. And then after our video went so viral, Good Morning America reached out and said, like, can you perform this? And we were like, we would love to. And they said, well, we'll have to reach out to Beyonce's, music team to see if they'll approve it. And they approved it. So we're still the only people who have ever performed Formation on television that's not Beyonce.
Girl, oh my
Amazing.
God. That's amazing.
It's crazy. And she's still like so kind and so nice and just so, it's like she has the Oprah effect because her platform is so massive and she has, hundreds of millions of fans. We all believe her. Like if Beyonce tells me something is great, I'm going to believe it, that it's great. And so she brought us to her global audience that was bigger than the dance community, bigger than the Black community. It's the global community. And so we're forever grateful to her because she really opened up so many doors. And since then, we've been like booked nonstop and doing our other dances and doing other things as well.
Oh my God. That's
She's
dope.
amazing. She has the Oprah effect. It's magic.
I mean, like I get that effect from her just by listening to her music. Like I listen to Flawless and then I just, hop in my car and let the wind blow through my hair. Just like, what? You can't tell me nothing.
I woke up like this. Like, exactly.
I know one thing you mentioned about the dance school, which I think seemed like it was pivotable in your career, was that you were on scholarship. And I just wanted to touch on that because when I went to school for nursing, I was on scholarship too. And, sometimes people downplay, getting assistance or help for what they need. And in this case, like if you didn't get that scholarship, you who knows if you would be where you are.
I 1000% would not be.
And I think the same thing about me. But for my scholarship, I had to disown my father and say that we didn't have any help. And so that's how I got all my assistance for nursing. I was just like, I don't know my dad. And I mean,
love it. It be like that though.
Yeah. Okay, so fast forward, you got the massive Beyonce platform. Debbie Allen, her spirit and her work ethic and her motivation is in you. And you go, you're in LA and you're helping out all these people. And I thank you for your kindness and your heart because, it's something that I noticed and you were just a welcoming, fun, caring person. What about comedy made you want to do it? I know that you said you have mentor Affion Crockett, and that there was something that Donald probably stirred up. But what was it about comedy that was personal for you that made you like?
I would say I've always been extremely talkative. Like ever since I was a child, like I was the kid on the leash. Literally, my mom had me on a leash. Those like a leash that attached to your wrist. Yeah.
No, she did not.
Yes. My mom is white, which makes this even more funny because I literally would talk to everybody. Like I could start conversation with a wall. And it was just, I didn't believe in stranger danger. So my mom, and this was at a time, I don't know if you remember, but remember when we were little, like kids got kidnapped so much. And they're talking about it now and there's a lot of human trafficking. But remember back in the day, like kids would get kidnapped, taken in a truck, somebody tried to give them candy. So my mom was very scared because I was very cute, I was chubby, and I talked to everybody. So I was on a leash. And I loved making people laugh because I remember I would say things like, even since the age of 5, and people would laugh. And I was like, I like this feeling. And then as an adult, what made me really want to try it was that it scared the shit out of me. And and I'm not afraid of things in general. So if it scares me and it's not something that's like, harmful, then I'm like, I have to try this. I have to do
Mhm.
this because I have to get over this fear because there's so much on the other side of it. Even if I suck, even if, nothing ever comes of this, I can't have this regret of not trying it because I'm
Mhm.
afraid. Like that's some punk shit. So that's how I really and I when I first moved to LA, also I was going to a lot of comedy clubs because that's how I felt like I was meeting Black people. Um,
Mhm.
Particularly Black men, because Black men frequent, go to see comedy shows. A lot of the comedians are Black men, and I missed that having moved from Harlem to LA where everything's, like so separated and spread out. It's hard to meet people. And so I was like, I want to do this. And so that's how it happened. It was really like fear that propelled me.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that when I moved to LA, before I even did stand up, I went to all the comedy clubs because Black men were there too.
Oh,
So
good. See, okay,
I
good.
was
See, we
like,
had strategies. I was strategizing, girl.
I was like, look, that was the only time I got dressed, put makeup on, got cute, and was like, because it was like one of those places where it was non-threatening. It was just, it was a good time when people laughing, and it felt like, like a little like family reunion. Like it felt like being somewhere with your cousins, even though I wasn't a comedian at that time. It just felt like, like we all together and we all cool. And then it was, everybody was hollering, and that was like that was cool too, because it
It
was like.
feels great because you're from Chicago, dudes holla.
Yeah.
And I miss that.
Like LA was a different ball game. Like everybody was beautiful. And if they
Mhm.
weren't beautiful, they can make themselves beautiful.
Yeah,
Um, and so it was kind of like everybody's gorgeous. So you like just being a pretty woman at times, I felt like it isn't enough at times. And so, but it just felt good to be around brothers that like love everything about you,
and
or
that
that love like
appreciate.
all of the things that are real. Um,
Mhm.
and then I went to the Improv a lot. That's where I went, like, to D-Ray's Monday night, Mo Better Mondays, and, met Spike. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there, I think 2 times I went to his Mondays.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I started going, because I was a travel nurse, and I didn't have any friends, and I would go to Mo Better Mondays with one of my white coworkers, and we would go in there just she was looking for Black men, and so was I. Um And we just had a good time, and I met Spike, and Spike was just like, like he acted like like a uncle, like a big cousin, just off the top, like, "What you doing in here?" And it turned into like the spot that I would go to, and then eventually I wound up just, doing comedy after a while.
I love
So
that.
so now that you have, you've done it, like
Mhm.
now that you have, you tried it and you done it again, like what do you think? Do you think that's something you're definitely gonna pursue, or is it like I scratching it off my bucket list um and dancing is your ticket?
It's something I'm definitely going to pursue. Right now, I've been writing. I've still been writing jokes when I think of them, but I'm
Mhm.
also very focused currently on finishing a children's book that I'm writing. I actually finished the
Yeah.
first draft and I'm just working with my illustrator. And it's
Mhm.
funny because in the children's book, it is very whimsical and fantastical and funny, but
Mhm.
it's for kids. Um, but like I love it. It's thrilling, it's exciting. It still makes me nervous, which really makes me excited about it because, I've been dancing for over 25 years and I still get nervous for like big shows and when I do things. But, comedy, if it was two people here to watch me, I would still feel like it was Good Morning America with 20 million people watching when I dance.
Mhm.
So for me, it's something I definitely want to continue doing. I definitely want to pursue. And it's exciting and scary to me, and that's what why I want to definitely continue doing it. It doesn't bore me at all.
Okay, all right. Do you know Sean and John, the tap dancing
Yes,
twins?
I love them. I love them. They're like my brothers. I've known them for 20 years. I love them. They are good people.
I met them. I can't remember which one I met. I think it may have been Sean.
I still can't tell them apart, and it's been 20 years.
You say what?
I still can't tell them apart, and it's been 20 years.
They were performing. I saw them perform on Hollywood Boulevard. I saw them perform in like club nights, R&B live. I think that's where I saw them really, really kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it was just one of those things out of nowhere. They were in Vegas, and they were, on tour, and they were just popping. And so when you mentioned how your life transitioned, really like kind of took off, it made me think of, how small is that circle with people of color, are talented in that world of tap dance.
Teeny, teeny, tiny. You know everybody. Like, if you met somebody and they told you, I'm a professional tap dancer, and you said, oh, do you know Maud? And they were like, no, never heard of her. They're probably not really a professional tap dancer. And I don't mean that to sound cocky. It's
Mhm.
literally that small.
Okay.
Like, you can go to Russia right now, and if somebody says they're a tap dancer, you'll say, do you know Maud and Chloe or Syncopated Ladies? And they're gonna say yes. It's a niche thing.
I was on your Instagram, and then I saw, the videos, like a lot of them, of you just like, and I say living because I think when people are really good at what they do, and you see like a freedom and fun, and just like it feels like a space and a world. And I was like, you know, I always thought that like that your personality shined, and I didn't know that tap dance side of you, until I haven't seen you perform live, but until I like saw you come on my feed, and I'd be like, this girl is living, like
Thank
I don't
you.
know her for real. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I didn't know you had all these hidden treasures. So I wanted to know, with being in the dance world, and with, your body, and like having to keep in shape, have you had any unexpected trips to the emergency room?
Yes. So let's see. As an adult, the last time I went to okay, well, here's the worst part about it, right? I sprained my ankle like really, really, really bad, 2018. And actually didn't go to the emergency room because I didn't have insurance at the time, which is terrible. And I like self-remedied this thing. And
How did you sprain your ankle?
I was walking off stage from a performance, and they didn't secure a wire properly. So when I walked off, because we have like an elevated floor that's maybe 6 inches off the ground for our tap floor. When I stepped
Mhm.
off the tap floor onto backstage, I stepped on this huge wire, probably like 3 inches diameter wire, and I
Mhm.
rolled my ankle. My manager said she saw it happen, and she thought that I broke my whole like ankle because it was so bad. But luckily, instinctively, I fell into it. I didn't resist the roll. And I think had I tried to push the other way, I would have broken it. So I fell on stage because people in the audience could see me falling as I was walking off, because like I made myself fall, and then my ankle was like gigantic. I did end up going to urgent care, but I didn't go to the emergency room. But I'm trying to think, the last time I was in the emergency room,
You know what? What you said right there, it literally, like, I think that is the story for a lot of people. They're just like, well, I didn't go because I don't have insurance, and they try to fix it themselves. But I wanted to just backtrack on the show that you were doing. Was it a big show? Like, how many people were there? Did y'all kill it? I know
oh,
you did, but just
we killed it. And it was so we have our own show called Syncopated Ladies Live, and it's a full length show of I wrote the show, my sister choreographed it, and it's all about like a woman's journey, a person's journey, but through tap dance. I made it through 90% of the show. After I fell off stage when I was walking off, I could not dance anymore. I couldn't walk on my foot. So we're literally backstage like, you do this part, you do this part, you do this part. And I just iced it. But there were probably in the audience, there were probably like 800 people.
Where was this? What
It was
city?
it was like an hour outside of here in a place called Oxnard.
Okay, I know Oxnard. I've
Yeah.
performed at the Laugh Factory, not Laugh Factory, the Improv out there.
Oh, amazing. So yeah, it's like an hour outside of here. We were performing at like for a like a college,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was pretty crazy because also, knock on wood, let me find some wood to knock on. I'm superstitious. In my career, I've been so lucky because I haven't really had a big injury. This was the first time that I really injured myself as an adult. And, you know, I will say what I'm so thankful for is that I at no point did I feel scared. Like, oh my God, if I can't dance, I'm gonna be poor. Or like I was like, if I can't dance, I'm about to be really focused on this comedy shit. Like I was like
But look at all that you're doing.
I
You're
was,
writing, you got books, you can perform, you're in production. It's just like,
oh, I also have a clothing line. It
girl, stop.
And we have my sister and I have our own tap shoe, and we're the first Black women to have our own tap shoe deal with a major shoe company, dance wear company. So it's kind of like the equivalent of like a Nike or Reebok, but in the dance
Girl,
world. And it's called
that is amazing.
Thank you. It's called the Chloe Ahmad tap shoe.
Girl, oh my God. I mean, I don't tap, but if I did, I would definitely, I think I might just need to get some just so I could be like, I might do something different.
You know what? Tap dance brings people so much joy. Much like comedy, it is truly like a joyful experience. It's hard to
Mhm.
articulate, but there's something about making noise that is music with your body and being able to communicate that way that is very powerful and very joyful.
Yeah, I definitely agree because I feel like culturally, like I'm from Chicago, like the people on the subway, on the train, and like, like the people that they make music out of anything,
Yeah.
like they bang, tapping on a bin or, like anything. And I think it's dope. I think it's really, really dope. I had a question for you just about um dancer injuries because I had a friend who was a coach for people that like I think he was for athletes, but
Mhm.
I heard and in the nursing world I heard that a lot of times with dancers then they have hip injuries, knee injuries, ankle injuries. Have you heard anything about those? And I heard that people use like platelets to inject into their joints. Have you heard or seen anything like that with in the dance world?
Okay, let me tell you. When I tell you I went like left field with this ankle thing. So I did acupuncture, which isn't crazy left field. I was doing the normal ice, elevate, blah blah blah. I tried
Mhm.
acupuncture. My ankle was still so swollen, and there like all the veins in my ankles were like very present. It looked crazy, like like my ankle turned into a big spider vein essentially.
Uh-huh.
So I did this thing called, oh my God, I can't remember, but basically this girl sucked blood from my ankle with some device. I cannot remember what it's called. Um, it's not cupping because that's the Chinese medicine when they pull. I cannot remember the name, but I have a picture and video. It's disgusting. And
Did she stick a needle in there?
it's not a needle. She punctured the skin with like it looked like something you would cook with, almost like, like what you shave cheese with. It kind of looked like that. But it was smaller. And she punctured my ankle and then put this thing on and started pulling the blood into this glass. But let me tell you, that shit worked. My ankle,
What?
the veins disappeared. Like my ankle was still like blue, all blue veins. The veins disappeared. I only had two left, and my ankle the swelling went down substantially. It was amazing.
I'm gonna have to Google and see what that was. I've never heard anything like that.
It's like some Chinese weird medicine. I'm trying to find the name for you right now. But in terms of injuries, there are so many injuries in the dance world. In tap dance, though, we don't have as many because it is less hard on your body as long as you're dancing on the proper floors. and doing the proper technique, like really bending your knees. But like if I tap dance on concrete, my career would have been over 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I have to dance on sprung hardwood floors. It's called bloodletting. That's what it's called.
Bloodletting. See, I learned something today now. Bloodletting.
Yeah, letting.
Oh,
I'm gonna send. You don't get queasy, right? Of course not. You're a nurse.
oh, not at all. You can.
Okay, I'm gonna send you my ankle.
Yeah.
I'll just send
I've
you a photo.
eaten lunch after like like after dumping a bucket of vomit or diarrhea. So, and I could just do it and then go and be like, oh, bite a pizza, then go back.
Oh
Let me
God,
see.
no. I don't get super queasy. This was just kind of gross, but it worked. It was so fascinating. And so when she pulled on that thing, like it suctioned out blood. And I think I sat on my ankle for like 45 minutes. So by the end, there
Oh,
was a lot more blood in there.
mhm.
And then she said, like, you might feel a little weak. So make sure you get some food. Make sure you just like rest for the rest of the day. And I was like, I can't go anywhere. I can't walk around right now. And then I felt better.
How long did it take for you to heal after that 45-minute session?
From like the puncture or from the
From the
puncture.
yeah. Was this
Oh,
so sorry for my guess. What I'm looking at a picture of Maud's ankle, and there is a suction like device on it that's like sucking out the blood that was, I assume, causing the swelling from her injury. And like I could literally see like the blood that was like I don't want to say oozing out, but at some it looks kind of like
it's gross.
seeping out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Chinese medicine, and I believe in the Chinese and herbal medicine. I had a doctor make me a pain patch, from like all these herbs, and I had to leave it on my hip. I wound up having hip surgery.
Oh wow.
Um, but to avoid that, I went to this Chinese medicine doctor for about a month or two, and they would make these pain patches from scratch. And it was so crazy because it worked. It like numbed my pain. So when you said, the Chinese medicine, I was like, I need to see this because I believe in it. And it looked like, I'm happy you good
I'm
because
very, very thankful too. It like felt better, and then I just kept icing it and just kept treating it well and elevating it, and I just didn't push. I didn't push the healing. Like I wasn't like I'm gonna dance now. I was like I'm gonna let this do what it needs to do before I dance on it full out because I know you just re-injure yourself.
dope. So in this situation, your needed trip to the emergency room turned into was it a failed attempt at the urgent care?
Urgent care doesn't tell you anything. They just are like, they're like, just rest in ice. And I'm like, oh, so I spent $150 to tell you what, so you can tell me what my mom would have told me. Yeah, I didn't, nothing came of that. Last time I went to urgent care, I'm very lucky. I'm generally a healthy person. I think I had like strep throat last year. I'm super prone to strep throat. It's very strange. I should have had my tonsils removed, but my mom never did it because I think we were too poor, and I wish she had of because I get strep throat at least once a year.
So did y'all have any like remedies to treat it since you got it so much?
No, I would literally just get on amoxicillin and the bubblegum medicine, the and some nasty ass other medicine that my mom, and I would just be sick. Like we just and I would just stay home until I was better. Like I don't get the flu shot. I just get the flu every year. And I mean, as much as I fly and travel, it's like I feel like I have to build my immunity, which is so crazy right now during COVID. I feel like so many people's immune systems are getting so weak,
Hmm.
um, because we're not out. We're just not exposing ourselves to germs. Even for kids who are like developing their immunity right now, it's
Hmm.
kind of scary because their immune system is going to suck. Um,
That's a great point that you made because when kids like when they go to kindergarten, that's where they get their defense. That's when their bodies develop the things to fight everything because they get exposed to everything, and then your body learns like what's foreign and how to fight it. And now, that is a point that I was a little bit, wondering about. It's just like if I'm not exposed to bacteria and, germs, so that my body could fight it, then, will my body lose its ability to fight stuff that we normally would fight without any issues?
Exactly, which is crazy. It's such a crazy thought. But yeah, I just get sick. Like I'm pretty sure I had coronavirus in January before it was like a big thing. I had
Hmm.
never been. I get the flu every year, and it sucks. And then I'm fine. I have my little homeopathic remedies. I'd never been so ill in my life, and I one day slept for 25 hours. Like when I tell you I was done in January, and I'd flown on a red eye from LA to New York, and I
Hmm.
surely whatever it was, and I did go to urgent care then too, because my mom was like, you need to go to urgent care to make sure you don't have pneumonia. And so I went to urgent care probably like 4 or 5 days after my like bad sickness was away. So I was less contagious. And the
Hmm.
doctor there was like, this is the worst flu I've ever seen. You're going to be coughing for at least another month. Um, just, keep eating healthy and take your vitamins and
Yeah,
keep,
what? Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, and she's like, and just keep being healthy and sleep when you can.
What was your homeopathic remedies or methods that you use?
Okay, so I have a whole series of things. So, of course, your normal vitamin C's. Then I take that oxysilocoxinum. Um, it's these things that melt under your tongue that you get at Whole Foods. I also do oil of oregano under my tongue, and it burns like a mofo. Black seed oil. I take a spoonful of that. Throat coat tea, manuka honey, mint in the tea, fresh mint in the tea, fresh lemon in the tea, fresh orange in the tea. I also then do NyQuil to help me sleep at night and to help with like the pain of the throat and the backaches and stuff. And then I
Hmm.
sleep with like full hoodie and full sweats to the point where I would have to change in the middle of the night because I wake up sweating so much and like change the sheets. And then hot showers with steam, and then a diffuser with On Guard oil.
And this is for when you get sick, or you do this on a regular
Oh,
basis?
this is for when I get sick. I'm like full throttle. But on a regular basis, I do take vitamins. I take elderberry and black seed oil. And then if I feel like a tinge of something coming, I put oil of oregano under my tongue. But if you have a sensitive mouth, it burns really a lot. So you can put it
Mhm.
in water, dilute it in water, and just drink water. And then I also take every morning this green powder that has like a ton of vitamins and all this stuff. And I put that in water and I drink that every day.
Oh, okay. Well, you're taking care of yourself. I have my secret remedy. Like if I start to feel sick in any way, like if I get like a little like a little tickle in my throat or something like that, I turn to zinc.
Oh, I
I
love zinc. I forgot to say zinc. Yes, zinc. You're on it.
Zinc is like my wonder drug. Like, and I
Mhm.
think there's something about it that I feel like it works before you get sick. Like if you kind of be like, "Oh, I'm not feeling right,"
Uh-huh.
I'll definitely take it, and I think it stops me from getting sick all the time. It's just like, give me. I have zinc at work on my desk.
I
I
think
have it in
that's
my car.
so smart. And which is what's bothered me about this whole coronavirus thing is that all we get this direction is wear a mask, get tested, but nothing's like, don't eat McDonald's, don't eat sugar every day. Take some zinc, take some elderberry, drink more water. There's no preventative, there's nothing about wellness. It's all
Mhm.
about like just do this one thing. But it's ridiculous because nobody's building their immunity.
Yeah, I think you know what's crazy though is that like I've talked to people. My cousin's actually an ER nurse. Um, and I've had people actually guests on my show that have, had corona, been in the hospital with it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the standard treatments that I heard, one was the hydroxychloroquine that was in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but the other one was actually a Z pack. And Z packs are literally high amounts of zinc.
That's
You know,
so true.
that so I'm just like, if that's what they're doing, and then of course, whatever was for people's symptoms. but it really made sense to me. That was just like, like I started taking elderberry, with all, whatever else it comes with, because that's an immune booster.
Mm,
But I had my zinc, and then I did my alkalinizing of of my body with like apple cider vinegar and alkaline water.
yeah.
And I like you said you thought you had corona. Like I thought I had corona way before. It was corona, and it was just like there's a bug going around. That's what it was. I think earlier, before they classified on what it was, because
Mhm.
I had a day where I was sick as a dog. And I mean, like, I laid down um in a gas station bathroom. Like I was so sick, and I had like diarrhea, and vomiting,
Oh,
nausea, hot flashes. I feel like I was gonna faint, and I was like, I just you never want to use a bathroom at a gas station.
hell.
And I went to the because I couldn't get home, and I went to the bathroom at the gas station, and I was so messed up because I didn't expect to like throw up and do all that extra stuff, that I literally like laid in a corner
Oh my goodness.
on the floor. It was AM PM, and I guess it was pretty clean, but and I had a dress on, and I was so messed up, girl, that I couldn't even put the sleeve on my dress back up. Like I left. I looked like I got my ass whooped in the bathroom,
You
and I went and
did
brought.
by your body. Your body whooped your ass.
Yeah, and I think I wound up going to the I wound up going and like and buying, like Tylenol and like nausea stuff like at that time. And then I had to sit in my car for another hour before I was able to drive home. And then it passed. After like a day, it passed. And so, part of me was like, it was horrible, and I had never experienced anything like it. I'm like, maybe I did have it before we knew what it was.
It
Uh,
sounds like you did, because to lay on the floor of a gas station, Taquita, oh my God. I'm a
I
germaphobe. I'm also a germaphobe. So like like ugh. That's horrifying.
and then what's crazy is that I work at a hospital, and like I didn't go, which is probably stupid. Like I didn't go to to the emergency room, which was like right across the street. Like I was
LOL.
like, I'm good. Let me just get home and get in the bed and get my zinc in my body. Um, and then that's what I did. So I think the whole stigma, people don't like going to the emergency room. They don't like going to the doctor. And if we could avoid it at any cost, I think we would.
It's
Because
not
I mess with the Chinese
pleasant.
Chinese medicine too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not pleasant. I like, for example, I love the dentist, which is nobody likes the dentist. I love the dentist, but the dentist is also my friend. She's amazing. Her office is gorgeous. Her office feels like you're walking into like the Prada store. Like the lighting is beautiful, the decor is beautiful, the chairs are comfortable. And I think that if, doctors' offices and hospitals were just a little bit more welcoming, that people would feel better about it. Like I get that it has to be clean and sanitized, etc. But do the lights really have to be Walmart ugly lights? Do the floors have to look like vomit from 1972? Like, do the curtains have to be that color? You know what I mean? Like, it,
If I can inject, I'm gonna say I think that the madness behind that is so you don't get so comfortable that you actually want to get up out of there. It's kind of like we don't want it to be welcoming because we don't want you to stay long.
LOL. That's hilarious.
This has been dope. To talk to you and get to know you a little bit more, but I have a couple more quick questions before we get out of here. One is, I know like you love the comedy world, and you also are infused in the dance world. You have having your own line with tap shoes, and being featured on Beyonce's website, and to perform on Good Morning America, girl. It's kind of like so many things. So, what is your ultimate goal that you haven't done? I'm gonna say with both, with comedy and in dance.
Um, well, and so to kind of pull it all together, one of my biggest dreams is to become a talk show host where I would be able to have basically like the Fly Girls, So I could still have my dance fix in that realm and hire and employ dancers. And then in the comedy realm, obviously, if you're a talk show host, that always gets intertwined. And because I also am a strong believer in philanthropy, that the show has a huge focus on philanthropy and people who give back. So it's like kind of bringing all of those things together. So I get to do what I love all the time in one place.
Girl, that is dope. And I can't wait to see that because I haven't seen that being done. And when you have talent like yours where you can pretty much do anything and be great at it, then I think that's a beautiful thing to do and to like have that goal. And when you do have that, please invite me to be a guest.
I will, because that's the other thing. Like, I always want to do whatever I do. I always want to put other people on. Like, I'm such a believer in like whole team winning. I want everybody to win. I want and in the most real way, because I feel like if everybody felt like they were winning for themselves, the world would just be happier and more peaceful and better. The reason people are so mean and hateful and is because they're not happy. They don't feel like they're winning at whatever it is that they're trying to do. And so whatever I do, I always want people to feel like they're living their purpose and helping them get to that and helping them take it to the next level. So girl, you already know. Yeah.
Well, that's dope. And I'm so happy that we got a chance to get to know each other a little bit more, a little better than before, because, like I said, I'm just like, this girl is dope.
Thank you so much. I've always thought you were so funny and so nice. I remember, I think one of the first times I saw you, I think was at like one of Donald's Valentine's Day shows or something.
The one with the pink blazer.
Yes, I love him. I love him for that. And I was like, I like her. Like you just see people and you're like, I can tell they're a nice person. Like they're good. They're like, you like somebody's talent, but then sometimes when you see talented people, their real life version of them is trash. And it's hard for me to separate the two. But when I see like somebody who's I think is like great and talented, and then I see that they're like great people, I'm like, yay.
Oh, dope. Well, thank you so much for, blessing us with your story and your talents. I can't wait to see your show come to fruition.
Thank you.
Please let us know where we can find you as far as your social media handles and what's next for you.
Awesome. Well, on Instagram and all that good stuff, I'm at Maudipoo because that's my childhood nickname. So that's MAUDIEPOOH. And what's coming up for me is, well, on every Monday, I host a little live on my Instagram. It's called the Modcast. It's all about joy, and I interview people and in various fields, and we talk about how they find joy and balance in their life. Like I just interviewed a pediatrician who's a hospitalist. And what else is coming up for me? My children's book when it's done. So hopefully by January it'll be, I'll find a publisher and I'll be doing a book tour or something. And yeah, I think that's it. I had a 30-city tour of the show, our Syncopated Ladies show, but because of coronavirus, that got canceled until things open up. So I'm out here creating, working, and staying positive.
Well, y'all heard it here. Y'all check her out. Maud Arnold if you don't know of her, you need to know her. Beyoncé knows who she is. Y'all, go follow her, support this sister's dream. This has been another episode of Love Notes. I'm your host, Taquita Love, and we will see y'all next time. Thank you for supporting us.